Welcome to the study of public administration. You are a graduate student on learning public administration. Today, I am introducing you the meaning and nature of public administration. As a student of public administration, we have to know about the meaning and nature of public administration at the introduction level. This part of meaning and nature of public administration is going to be discussed in two parts. The structure of lesson is objectives, introduction, meaning and definitions, scope. The first important aspect is we have to know the public administration is as old as human history. This is not a new phenomena. Generally, the people are thinking that public administration is a 100 years, 100 plus years old subject. But administration, decision making, coordination, whatever we are discussing, the important features of public administration are as part of as human history. But anyhow, you are going to learn the important features, aspects of the public administration in this. Objectives. This lecture to introduce the subject of public administration. After going through this unit, you would be able to understand, define public administration, describe its nature as an activity and as a subject of study, and identify the differences and similarities between the public and private administration. Introduction. Public administration as an activity is timeless. However, in the ancient and medieval times, it was in a rudimentary form, performing certain basic essential functions. But in modern times, it is the concern of every citizen, touching him at every turn of his life in view of the variety of services provided by the administrative machinery. As a subject of study, public administration is of recent origin, maybe just 100 years old. Whatever we discussed in this part is that the public administration is as old as human history, but the subject of the study of public administration is a little bit over of 100 years. Every student of public administration has to keep in the mind this part. It can be stated that the subject acquired more importance as a field of study since 1970s in India. It is studied as an independent discipline in some universities in India and abroad, and in many universities it is studied as part of political science. The study of public administration, it started about 1887 in America, but in India we are studying public administration as part of political science in many universities. But after 1970, the momentum was picked up to study the public administration in India, and various universities started it as a separate discipline of the study. Meaning and definitions. Public administration consists of the two words, public and administration. This word administration is derived from two Latin words, ad and minister, which means to serve, to manage affairs, or to look after the people. According to John A. Wake, administration is determined action taken in pursuit of conscious purpose. One of the important things we have to know the meaning is the public administration is a mix of the two words called public and administration. Again, the administration is derived from the Latin, that is ad and minister. It means that managing the affairs of the citizen or looking after the affairs of the citizen. This is the basic meaning of the public administration. Another important personality in public administration, Felix A. Negro, he defines, administration is the organization and use of men and materials to accomplish a purpose. Public administration is going to use the men and materials to accomplish a particular objective purpose. Herbert Simon, Alexander Herbert Simon, was a Nobel Prize winner in public administration. He pointed out it differently. Administration in its broadest sense consists of activities of groups cooperating to accomplish common goals. One of the important aspects according to the Simon was known in public administration for his contribution to the decision making in organizations, but he contributed to the public administration, and he said that administration in its broadest sense, activities of groups cooperating for a common goal. An analysis of these definitions clearly indicates that every act of administration is having a common purpose and as a collective group effort are inherent. Finally, we have to learn that administration is going to work for a common purpose of the society, and it is going to work through a collective group. So, the collective group of people are working for a common purpose. This is what we have to understand from the public administration. There is no administration if there is only a common purpose without a collective effort, or vice versa. Hence, administration is called a technology of social relationships. We feel the technology. Technology is, we talk about a technology, a vehicle is a technology, link things are a technology, computer is an information technology. But here, the public administration is a link between a common purpose and collective effort. Administration is a generic term. In other words, it is a root from which several branches have sprang up. It can be stated that wherever there is a type of collective activity involving man and material, there is administration. So, there are different administrations like revenue administration, military administration, private administration, etc. But the important aspect is you have to keep in the mind, wherever the man and material are there, then administration is there. So far we discussed about administration. What about the public? The word public has several meanings. It may mean government, people, or open. However, in public administration, the word public is used mainly to denote the government. In other words, public administration is an extension of a government activity. This can be justified on the ground that the government is the only organization or institution which serves all people belonging to a given territory. The all government activities are which meant for the service of the people is public administration. In common parlance, public administration means government administration, central, state, local level. So, it means we have a central government, we have a state government, we have a local government like municipalities, panchayats, nagarpalikas, etc. All these administration is government administration. In recent times, it is increasingly felt that ambit of public administration is not confined to just government administration. This was understanding started in after 1980. Public administration means it's not just a government administration, it's much more. So, the word public is defined with a broader meaning. In that way, public administration is more and more concerned with public affairs. Thus, the frontiers of public administration are expanding. All public affairs related with government activity is public administration. Somebody is going to a ration shop, somebody is going to about a water connection to a municipality, somebody is going to a hospital, somebody is going to an education institution. All this will come under public administration. From the very beginning, the public administration as a subject of the study faced a definitional crisis, the crisis of definitions. In other words, there is no unanimity as regards what public administration and what it is not. It would not be possible here to give all the definitions given by the eminent writers. Different definitions considered public administration in different ways depending upon how it is viewed. Now we can see the sum of the definitions. According to the Woodrow Wilson, public administration is a detailed and systematic execution of public law. every particular application of law is an act of administration. L.D. White, another important personality in public administration, he defined public administration consists of all those operations having for their purpose the fulfillment or enforcement of public policy as declared by the competent authority. Dwight Waldo defines public administration as the art and science of management applied to the affairs of the state. Administration has to do with getting things done. Then we take another important personality, Luther Gulick. Public administration is a part of the science of administration which has to do with government, and this concerns itself primarily with the executive branch, where the work of the government is done. Though there are obviously problems in connection with the legislative and judicial branches. Luther Gulick's important explanation here is that public administration is related with three important branches: executive branch, legislative branch and judicial branch. But he emphasized public administration primarily with the executive branch, where the government work is done. Legislative branch, you know, the assemblies, they will take a decision, they will make a rule of law, but implementation is executive. Judicial branch, they comment on the constitution, they comment on the legislature, they comment on the administration, and we have to consider what is these comments, how we are working. So these three branches of the government is related with public administration. Administration is concerned with what and how of the government. What is a subject matter and technical knowledge of a field, which enables the administration to perform his tasks. See, this is one of the important angle for the students. First, you have to keep in the mind what is public administration, how is public administration, what is the subject matter, technical knowledge of the field, and how the administrator is going to perform his task. Rules, organization, structure, hierarchy, how things will go on. Then the how is the technique of management, the principles according to which cooperative programs are carried to success. How is a technique of a management, the principles according how we are working. Then how and what, both are indispensable. Together they form the synthesis called administration. This is a version of the Marshall E. Demock. Administration signifies the organization, personnel, practices and procedures essential to effective performance of civilian functions entrusted to the executive branch of the government. This is a John A. Wake definition talking about effective performance of civilian functions. Citizens are looking towards the government for the activity. They measure the government based on the activities, based on the functioning of administration. All the time, citizens want more and more effective performance. Hence, the executive branch of the government, the public administration, is important for the citizen. Now, after the meaning and definition, let us know about the scope of public administration. An analysis of the several definitions indicates that public administration could be viewed as an activity of implementing public policy, or could be viewed in terms of a broader integrated political and administrative processes involving the states of anticipation, conception and formulation of public policy to its implementation and management. We would further study this aspect under the scope of public administration. The scope of the public administration first is as an activity. As an activity, what does public administration include? There are two views regarding the scope. There are the wider, or we can call as an integral view of public administration, and the narrower or managerial view of public administration. According to the integral view, public administration includes all the activities of three branches of government, that is, executive, legislature, and judiciary. Accordingly, public administration is the sum total of all the activities undertaken in pursuit and fulfillment of public policy. L.D. White adopted this view, as could be seen from his definition. Whereas Lyndall Warwick, Luther Gulick, and these people have taken as a different view, that is called managerial view of administration. Luther Gulick views the scope of administration as confined to the activities of executive branch only. The administration has taken about the three branches of administration, whereas Luther Gulick takes executive branch only. Similarly, these two views regarding the scope what constitutes administration. All the activities performed by the officials from top to bottom are only managerial activities performed by the top few. The public administration as an activity of the government related with the executive branch. But after the decades and decades of seeing the public administration, presently public administration is concerned with policy formulations as well as implementation. Many of the amendments to the acts are initiated and formulated by the civil servants. Judicial pronouncements or court judgments have to be enforced by the administration. In this way, public administration is nothing less than the whole government. It can thus be concluded that the scope of public administration as an activity embraces the area and activity under the jurisdiction of public policy. It can be stated that public policy is that which relates to what the government does or chosen not to do, either to do, not to do. So, the important aspects here in the scope of public administration, we discussed that there are two views. One is general view, understanding public administration is total. Another is about managerial view, understanding the public administration, only the working of executive branch. But in fact, it is felt that the scope is not restricted to government institutions only. Aided educational institutions funded and controlled by the government, cooperative institutions funded and controlled by the government, and some of the cooperative institutions which are considerably financed by the government, which have to do with the public welfare, come under the purview of public administration. So, it is not a pure government activity. Even the semi-government organizations also has to work under the government. In this connection, it is worth quoting about Felix Angura, who summed up the features of public administration as a cooperative group effort in public setting, covers all the branches, executive, legislative and judicial and their relationships, has an important role in the formulation of public policy and is thus a part of the political process. More important than, different in significant ways from private administration. As a field of study and practice has been much influenced in recent years by the human relations approach, is closely associated with the numerous private groups and individuals in providing services to the community. This type of understanding of the public administration is the latest phenomena. After 1970s, there are two important concepts in public administration has arisen. One is called about a public choice, another is called about a new public management. These two things has given, expanded the scope of public administration and has given that we have to learn from the private administration. Now, as a subject of study, public administration as a subject of study, there are two views regarding the scope of public administration as subject of study, namely POSDCORB view and subject matter view is another. POSDCORB view stresses the importance of managerial tasks. In other words, administration consists of managerial tasks. This view is held by the writers on business and industrial administration like Henry Fayol and also Lyndall Warwick. It was Luther Gulick who coined the acronym POSDCORB to describe clearly the managerial tasks. Each letter of this acronym stands for one managerial activity. And moreover, majority of our students think that POSDCORB is basically the public administration. Yes, we have to learn at the graduate level POSDCORB, and it is going to continue whether you are in academic field or in a managerial field. This is going to help us to understand organizations. In the POSDCORB view, P is for planning, which is preparation for action. O stands for organization, which is the structure through the activities are realized. It involves division of work, coordination, cutting and sewing together. Then staffing, which is the entire gamut of personnel management for recruitment to retirement, the total career of the people or in organization. Hence, staffing is most important. D for directing. It means issuing orders and instructions for the guidance of the staff. Coordination means all important activity of interrelating various parts of the work and eliminating overlapping and conflict. This coordinating of the activity is important. You can find anywhere in each and everything there is a coordinator. Then R stands for reporting, means keeping both the supervisors and subordinates informed about the ongoing works. Organization's lifeline is reporting. The information has to come from bottom to up, and the authority has to come from the top to bottom. Like that, organization is going to alive, and reporting is important for that. Then budgeting. About all aspects of the entire gamut of financial administration is budgeting. This is about POSDCORB. P for planning, O for organization, S for staffing, D for directing, CO for coordination, R for reporting, B for budgeting. For a long time, it was felt that the POSDCORB activities constituted to the core of public administration, but it was later realized that they were neither the whole of administration nor even the important part of it. The POSDCORB, though it is familiarized with the organizational activities, but the majority of the people felt it is in a housekeeping activities. But they are the other tools of administration. POSDCORB is only explaining the important aspect of organizational structure, but they are the best tools of administration. The substance of administration is something different. Even those POSDCORB activities are also influenced by the subject matter of administration. Under emphasis on the means or tools to the determinant of substance is to miss the very heart of administration. Hence, the subject matter view of administration arose. This lays stress on the activities of services, that is subject matter of administration. These services have important techniques of their own. In conclusion, it can be stated that POSDCORB view and subject matter view is not mutually exclusive. In a way, they are complementary to each other. As is this case of all applied social sciences, the scope of public administration consists POSDCORB of the theory part, and the applied part consists of the studies, concrete application of administrative theory to various fields such as various types of administration. This is the first part of our discussion. Today, we discuss three important aspects in this class. Number one, meaning of public administration. Number two, definitions of public administration, where we can understand about the different opinions of the various thinkers. Number three, the scope of administration. We discussed about the two important aspects. One is general view, another is managerial view. I am going to give about the important questions to you. 1. Discuss the important definitions of the public administrations and how far it is going to help to understand the administrative situations. 2. Explain the acronym of the POSDCORB and the criticisms on it. For further study, you can go through Avasthi and Maheshwari, Public Administration, 2. Mohit Bhattacharya, Public Administration.